So the next Connecticut incident occurred on New Year's Eve.
I keep thinking you're saying Connecticut.
Next Connecticut incident occurred on New Year's Eve. Technically New Year's Day.
A technically New Year's Day, but spiritual New Year's Eve.
Yeah, let's be real.
For people of the night, a New Year's Eve.
For people of the night?
Yeah.
Like vampires?
No, like, not like me who did not make it to like 11:30.
Like sexy vampires in New Orleans? And...
Yeah, little like voodoo players.
Voodoo players? This is voodoo players?
Players.
Voodoo players.
Like in Wild at Heart.
I don't know where I'm going with that.
Bobby Peru.
Look, it was technically New Year's Day, but it was 3:00 in the morning, so revelers were still out from New Year's Eve.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
technically it was New Year's Day.
Well, they were out until Shamsuddin Jabbar drove a Ford F-150 through them and then got out shooting on Bourbon Street. So let's talk about this guy a little bit, because this is sort of the most like classic terrorist attack of these.
Yeah.
So he is a brother from Houston. Apparently, because there's a lot of like kind of confusion about his name.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently his dad was Muslim when he was born. We don't really know yet. I'm sure it'll come out. His dad was Muslim before he was born, but later allegedly converted to Christianity. That family doesn't seem to be like super observant Muslim or anything, like they are practicing at all. He had kind of a life that is, I think, really typical. I don't know how to explain this. He had a very ordinary life in many ways. He joins the Army in 2007, and there he was a 42A, which is a human resource specialist.
I can tell you spent some time on the U.S. military job listings.
They're so fucking funny.
You were
There's a graphic design one.
Well, they probably need that.
I know, but it's like...
But it would be crazy if you're like, oh yeah, I'm in the military. I'm a graphic designer.
Well, I was so... I
Do you
don't
have
probably...
do you have to be combat ready?
Well, Liz, you don't... Definitely not. Combat ready?
I don't know how it works.
No, most of the military is like really dumb people.
No, I understand.
who
that,
live on a base.
Look, the largesse of the military bureaucracy I am aware of, though something that the Doge Commission, still learning how to say that, will not touch for obvious reasons. However, my confusion is always like, do the people who, I'm going to go work for the military, but I'm going to just learn how to man the laundry.
Yeah.
Do they still have to go through like military training?
You still have to do... So I watched a lot of videos that because the Army makes videos basically advertising every single MOS. Now, what does MOS stand for? Let me look that up right now because I don't actually fucking know.
Member of service?
Something of
No,
service.
Military Occupational Specialty
Okay.
Code.
Oh.
So the way I know what MOS is like, because in all like the Stolen Valor videos, which by the way is like almost always some like really stupid guy asking a guy who like literally has a developmental disability, like who's wearing like a uniform or whatever, like, what's your fucking MOS? What MOS did you have? And it's like a guy with Down syndrome be like, oh, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Oh, Liz, it's horrible.
Why are these people doing that?
It's actually some of the most ableist videos you can find on YouTube. But
no wonder
because
you're watching them.
Sometimes I think people who are like a little special like to dress up in military.
No, but also, what's wrong with wearing that? No, I'm talking about the people who are going around harassing other people for wearing like military.
Well, there's
outfits.
a lot of losers and haters in the world, and I think for some guys, they were in the Army for like 8 years. They hurt their back. They never did anything cool. And like the only thing they have when they get out is like, I fucking served.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. For what? Great. And look where that got you. They fucking, that's going to be brought up in my Senate fucking hearing in like 10 years.
You're getting a lot of good clips from this episode.
But it's true though. Like, what did that get you?
Also, babe, it's going to be in the House of Representatives. It's going to be in the
And
Senate.
so they go out and they're like, you're fucking doing like, stolen valor. You're like, you're wearing this uniform. My brothers died for this uniform. Yeah, by overdosing when they got home. Like, my brothers fucking died for this. And like yelling at some like basically
That's awful.
mentally ill guy at a gas station who's like, I'm special forces SWAT sniper, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, it'll be like literally a guy with Down syndrome who's like, I was special forces. And these guys are like yelling at him and shit. It's just, it's rough. Anyways.
There's so much internet.
There's so much out there.
Do you ever think about that? Like, there's
I try
just
not
so
to.
much.
Well,
of
I was
it.
looking up like there's gas station specialists. There's a train, the 88U. You can be a train operator in the Army.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What kind of trains are they using?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
But sometimes you see trains with like tanks on the back of them in
Yeah.
California. Then he was a 25B, which is an
25B.
IT specialist.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, so you worked like these like office jobs.
Sure.
In the Army.
Wait, JD Vance was a photographer, no?
Yeah, actually, let's see. Marine photographer, photographer MOS. It is a 4541. I think that's what JD Vance was then. Wow, it's so funny because if you ever actually watch videos of like any of these people doing their job,
Yeah.
it's literally some guy in like a fucking cubicle with like the white, fluorescent lights above
Sure.
him. And like you're on a computer, but you have to wear like an army uniform and boots
Yeah.
and shit. It's like, come on. You shouldn't make
my
anybody
God.
who's not fighting or like directly supporting that wear the goofy uniform. Like you should give them at least not camouflage.
I know.
Because the camouflage really looks fucking stupid in an office environment.
It's like fucking Patton meets Office Space.
Exactly. Well, Patton at least had the olive drab, which I might bring it back for these guys for their drab fucking lives. So he was deployed to Afghanistan in 2009, I guess, to do IT or fucking HR work. But, they're always like trying to get you to like re-enlist or whatever.
Yes,
so
of
it's
course.
like, and then like, I guess he wasn't probably solving the sexual harassment stuff. Stationed at Fort Bragg.
Which a lot of people were like, wee, 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 because of what we're going to talk about with the next guy with the Cybertruck boom, boom.
But he hasn't been stationed there for quite a while. I don't see how he would really interact with Livelsberger, the Cybertruck guy who was also at Fort Bragg around the same time.
Yeah.
It's a huge base. I mean, maybe he did his HR complaints.
Could be.
Could be. But, like, unless they were interacting on some crazy level. Also, Livelsberger was a Green Beret. I mean, both Army, but, yeah, it's a big Army. Dinjabar's out of the Army in 2020. Honorable discharge, goes to work IT for Deloitte.
Classic move. Classic lateral move. One big old bureaucracy to the next.
Yeah, Deloitte's like the big ass accounting firm.
One of the big ones. Yeah, it's huge.
He also does, and like this is actually kind of makes me sad because it's such like a guy who's like thinks he's got a shit in line thing to do. So he gets like $120,000 a year job at Deloitte, pretty good. He also starts a property management company. Like you can tell that he's like, I'm going to go into real estate,
Right.
and like
I'll have all these, passive income, baby, passive income.
exactly. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. It's like he's so normal in so
Yeah,
many respects.
totally.
Like most people who are in the Army, like there's very few actual like. I mean, they're all soldiers, but like, there's very few actual like infantry grunts out there. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot, but there's like, they're dwarfed by the massive, massive, massive fucking like Army bureaucracy.
Yeah,
Which
totally.
this guy was a part of, like so many people are. He marries a few times, doesn't go well. He's married at one point to a woman named Nakedra Charles.
No, why are you saying it? It's obviously Nikedra.
Okay, the reason I put that in is because I thought it was pronounced Nakedra.
Why would anyone pronounce their name Nakedra? It's obviously Nikedra. Nikedra Charles.
Oh, Charles.
You thought it was Nakedra Charlie?
Well, I thought it was like she like I don't know, like someone I don't know.
Naked Ra, like
I
the
was just like, damn, that's a crazy name.
sun god.
I mean, it is a pretty crazy name. Like, I think, how do you write out naked as a kid? Like, you're writing your name and you're like, it starts Nakedra. Like, that sucks.
It sucks. Yeah,
You're going
it
to get
sucks.
bullied. But I
know.
think it's probably Nikedra.
It's almost certainly Nikedra. But you can pronounce the name any way you like. Nikedra Charles.
Sure.
Yeah, how you said it was good. Nikedra Charles. They got 2 kids, get divorced, gets married again. That goes badly as well. Gets married again, and that wife divorces him. I think I sent you guys the screenshot of it, but I didn't put it in the notes here. part of their divorce filings is he was giving too many gifts to women, lavish gifts to
Yeah.
women.
If that's a crime,
Then fucking,
me
then
up.
I am
Well,
the
if
most
you're
innocent
married,
man in
if
history.
you are married, you
If you're
should not be lavishing gifts on other women.
Yeah, but what if I just like? What if I'm like? What about Santa Claus?
exactly.
What about Santa Claus?
Well, I'm sure they have their own issues.
And they probably got their own thing worked out too. Like they probably got the elves in on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he's out that night, the elves get in.
Yeah. Also, the exception proves the rule.
Exception proves the rule. That's so true. But things seem to have been like going downhill for him in recent years. One of his ex-wives' new husbands, not a sentence you want read out after you die, now stepfather to his kids, I think told the New York Times it was that he couldn't see the kids anymore because he was acting nuts. Like,
So
they
there
cut
we
him
go.
off. Like
Yeah.
this guy, he's been thrice divorced. Nothing's anything wrong with that. Thrice divorced.
That's you know what? It's a tough hand to be dealt.
Yes. And it seems at some
There's a lot of
point
divorced guy energy going on in this story.
in all of these stories. Well, I don't know. I feel like the first guy, not too. I mean, we don't really hear anyone connected to that.
Well, but he divorced Islam.
He did divorce Islam. Yeah,
So-
that's so true.
But so okay.
So Shamsud eventually moves to a Muslim neighborhood in Houston. This is how it's described. I didn't really look into exactly the makeup of the neighborhood, but none of the mosques in the neighborhood ever reported seeing him there. They're like, we don't know this guy. And it's now come out that maybe it was like a little thing that he was doing in his own place. He also went to Cairo in the summer of 2023. And
Okay.
then Ontario right after. I don't know. Maybe
I don't
it's
like that he
he's
went to
just
Canada.
on vacation. Yeah, me either. And then I think it made it come out today that he was in Florida, which I'm like, all right, I wouldn't read too much into that, but maybe. And then visited New Orleans around Halloween, probably a crazy time, and videotaped himself using his Meta glasses.
Okay, so the Meta glasses. I want to talk about this for a second. These are the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, correct? These are not the goggles that, of course, we tried. What is that? What are those
Oh,
called?
that was for VR goggles.
Yeah, but that's Meta owns
Oculus,
those.
yeah.
Oculus.
No, but didn't they come up with goggles? Remember this like last year?
No, those are the Apple ones.
Oh yeah. that's
No,
Apple.
Oculus, but it's owned by Meta. That's what I'm trying. But these are
Paul
Meta
Lucky.
X Ray-Ban.
Yes.
And so they're normal Clark Kent style glasses, but then they have a little Meta camera in them on this, where the Ray-Ban little, dash would be.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right now. That should be illegal.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like that. I think if you want to film someone in public, you should have to be holding your phone out like this or surreptitiously doing it, but you're still gonna get
No,
caught.
I think that if you have glasses on like that, you need to also. They come with one of those, how like old lady glasses that are attached to
Croquis.
Yeah.
the neck. What?
I think they're called croquis.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But so those have one, but then also with a big fucking sign that says, "I'm filming you.
I'm filming you.
I'm filming you
in my
you.
Meta glasses.
I'm a pervert. I'm a rich pervert who's filming you."
It's
Yep.
like how toy guns have to have the orange tip barrel.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Actually, they should make the glasses fucking bright orange. They shouldn't make them black glasses.
I feel like, yeah. I was going to say there's a sort of like soy archetype that would be okay with that, and probably with filming women without them knowing.
Well, he rides a bike through Bourbon Street wearing these stupid fucking glasses, and he also comes back on November 10th. Probably doing a little bit of recon there. It's like, you gonna do some recon on Bourbon Street? Yeah, me too. At some point recently, he shaved his head.
That's important.
Well, here's the thing, though. You got to do that after making Hodge.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I feel like this guy is cutting corners.
He's cutting corners. That's what I'm saying here. He's cutting corners. This is the thing. So he drives to New Orleans. He makes 5 videos on the way there.
Yeah.
And I think we don't have the videos out yet. They might get released at some point. Probably not.
I don't know. I think
Maybe.
they probably not.
And he's like,
Unless it's useful propaganda for something.
to
Probably
my
not.
family, I was going to kill you guys, but then people would misconstrue it as just a guy killing his family instead of like killing unbelievers. So I'm going to go kill a bunch of people in New Orleans. And then he also pledges himself to ISIS. I think that's an important thing here because the government, I will say, is saying that they're portraying this as a lone wolf attack. They're
Yes.
saying that he was not ordered to do this by ISIS. This was not set up by like
And
an ISIS
it's not like
cell.
ISIS is taking credit for this.
I'm sure that they are. Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently they're like celebrating their, but like people are always like, oh, it's being celebrated in terrorist
I have a
Telegram
question
channels.
because in the video of him in the F-150, it's a little confusing about the flag. It seems to be tied up.
Yes.
Like, so much hay was made that he was, the F-150, there's a pole, they're like, we found the ISIS flag that's attached to and he was waving the ISIS flag, it's ISIS track. But it seems like he didn't, like, unwrap the flag if it was there or if it was planted.
Well,
like, it's confusing
that could
to
lead
me.
to some awkward questions on his way to Bourbon Street.
Right.
So like you're going down the freeway and you have like from your F-150 an ISIS flag in Louisiana. People might be like, what's up with that?
I mean, ISIS flag is maybe having people ask questions I think already answered by the ISIS flag.
Exactly. But it's like, my guess there is that like when he got to Bourbon Street, he was like, should I undo the flag? No, because I gotta get out. I gotta undo the ISIS flag and get back in. And F-150 is a big truck.
That is a big ass fucking truck.
Big fucking truck. And so
People
you have to-
forget how big those trucks are. Us
forget how
city
big the trucks are.
dwellers forget. You see those cars out there on the open road. They are fat motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're big ass motherfuckers. Drives down Bourbon Street, obviously. Don't need to go into too many details about that. But I can't tell if he actually left them there before he did it or like flung them out the window, but there was 2 bombs that were apparently connected to a detonator that he had that he did not set off because when he got to the end of his little death drive, he got out with a gun and then was killed by police.
Yeah.
I can't tell because I think 2 of the people he killed or injured, I think killed, were cops. So I don't know if he did that while shooting it out with them or
I think so. Yeah.
or he hit them initially. Yeah, probably. I don't know. It's hard to shoot someone, but I guess he did. It's a very strange attack.
Yes. It's very strange. First of all, I don't like hearing about ISIS again. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Why are we talking about ISIS again? ISIS is over.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well,
You know what I
ISIS
mean.
There's still ISIS in like Africa.
But
and
it's
shit.
weird to hear about ISIS. Look, the coverage after was very much, it felt like almost like trying to drum up the old kind of ISIS fear mongering of the like
Yeah.
Obama years. And everyone was sort of like, ISIS, really?
Well, I think
Are we
that- I
like
think
really
that-
doing ISIS again?
I think that led a lot of people, including myself, to be like really suspicious about this. right?
Absolutely. Especially with the ISIS flag all wrapped up. You're like, wait, an ISIS guy is wrapping up his ISIS flag? Like, isn't the whole thing that you got to like,
Let that freak flag fly.
yeah, play the fucking song.
Yeah. Play the song.
For the sake of Allah, we will march to the gates of the paradise where our maidens await.
Which, by the way, to the one listener out there who's like, damn, what song was that?
None of your. It's first of all, it's not a song.
First
There's
of
no
all-
music. There's no music. It's a poem.
God bless you, and wherever you live, that you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Because that seems like a magical, lovely place.
Which God's blessing them, Liz. But yeah, shout out to the monotheists out there in the audience. I think that everybody. I mean, honestly, my read on this after like really going through as much as we know about him now, which is still not that much, is it seems like there's a strange disconnect between like him getting super religious, like everybody in his family that has like been asked by reporters. It seems to be
Yeah.
everybody in his family was like, I didn't even know he was like that.
Yeah.
You know, like he was weird.
Just like lone wolf conversion to ISIS.
But it seems like
how
in
do
the
you
past-
get there? Are you just like, I'm
That's what I'm
interested.
saying.
What are they up? What's up with them?
Yeah, it's a little Johnny come lately,
That's what I'm saying.
but maybe he feels like he missed out. You know, it's like those rockabilly bands that started in the '80s, like Stray Cats or whatever. They're like, "Fuck, I miss Chuck," but he, yeah, and like, you know, seems to be some
ISIS
domestic
tribute.
problems with him, like maybe rumors of him maybe being violent towards women.
Yeah.
that I don't think we have proof of yet, but like, there's some darkness there for sure. But it's-
The like domestic violence divorce angle feels more salient to me than the guy is converting to ISIS alone
yeah,
and not
that's-
talking to ISIS about it.
Yeah, I guess that's. I mean, usually that's the thing is like we see self radicalization sometimes, but a lot of that is like people really like getting obsessed and like reading The Beak or like what I don't know if they make The Beak anymore, but
That's
like,
what I'm saying. This
like-
shit is so 2008.
Well, and so
I know he lived in Houston, but
well, that's the other thing is the New York Post. I don't know if you saw this. Had a reporter in yoga pants,
what?
which I don't mean nothing by that, but I do think it's weird. Traipsing through his house.
We need more context here. Oh, the video.
The video of that woman.
So can you explain?
A New York Post reporter, and every connotation that you have with that is correct about
Yes.
this lady. I can't remember
Go
her name,
forth.
but she is.
You know the
You know the vibe, and you're correct on it. Is like walking around in his house, like through the busted down door, a couple days after it happened, and like streaming it and being like, "So we have his Muslim books here." And like, you know, there's some chemicals back, and she's just like going through his house. There's like flash drives.
She's like, look at this computer I'm looking at. This
Yes.
is his computer. And it's like, lady, put that down. You can't touch that. It's a crime scene.
Well, I mean, it's just like, first of all, chain of custody stuff with evidence is, as we know,
And
can
you know
be-
that bitch has seen CSI?
Yeah, I mean, not like he's gonna go on trial, but like still, like it's very strange. What I don't understand is like, first of all, why wasn't that crime scene sealed off? At least by like local PD. You know, like
think
have
that-
like a couple guys out there. Maybe the yoga pants. They never seen something like that in Houston before. But like,
I love how you're saying this. Like, Houston's such a huge fucking city,
know,
too.
it's
It's
a
like a huge city.
Matt, it's mostly
Don't
free.
get in
but
the comments
it's
and be
mostly
like,
freeway.
oh,
It's mostly freeway.
oh, you people on the coast, you don't understand. I fucking have been to Houston. I know.
That's kind of on a coast.
Soon to be
The Gulf Coast, the Gulf Coast of America.
Yeah. Fucking pig people, pig country. Not Houston. Renaming the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. So
But he had like a few books out, and she was like, "Oh, look, there's this Quran. It's open." You know, he had like a Christian book too, but he had like 4 books. And so I'm like, well, what was he like? We have no actual like we have no idea how much he was actually interacting with like, I guess like global jihadism. It does seem like so much of this. I mean, also it's like he's making a choice of whether to go murder his family or his ex-wife and the stepfather and the kids,
Yeah,
or
or a
go
bunch of
kill
random
a bunch
fucking
of
people.
random people in fucking New Orleans.
Which also, I do want to say, you know, we're talking about this in that way, but in this way that's like, you know, we don't mean to make light of it. Like the videos of these people who were like celebrating New Year's Eve after witnessing like their friend, you know, there was like this one interview with a guy who was like, oh, we were running and then I realized my friend wasn't with us and he was killed. It was like awful. It's so fucking awful.
Horrible. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it like there's this, I sense this, I see this rather. I don't really have this, but like, I think a lot of people have this sort of like hair on the back of your neck, like paranoia in like these large crowds now.
Yeah.
Certainly it's some citizens more than others, which we'll get to with the Livelsberger stuff. But like, it just seems like, I don't know. It's such a, it's like, what a piece of shit. Right.
Yes.
And I think I was like wondering, I was like, well, is this like, how does like cui bono here, right? For like government stuff. I can't really figure it out because, you know, like there is like the US being like, oh, we want to stay in Syria because of the ISIS stuff. I don't know what Trump's view on that is going to be. I mean, that seems to be very much the Pentagon angle of like anti-ISIS operations, which are obviously just like, you know, no end date in sight.
Right.
And certainly I don't think ISIS's capabilities to launch like transnational attacks in Syria I don't think they have any infrastructure anymore. But, and like, you know, there's ISIS in Africa who are actually like pretty big, in different African countries. But it's like, is it like they want to gin up like fear on that? I'm not really seeing that so far. It remains to be seen. But it's certainly a strange thing. And a lot of people made a lot of hay about him being at Fort Bragg at the same time.
Which, this will probably be the first, but not the last time we shout it out. If you're curious about Fort Bragg, we've got lots of episodes that we will link to in the show notes. But also you could go to our website and search Fort Bragg and a bunch will come up. Almost all of them with Seth Harp.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, but I don't really see that there unless you're really, it's a reach, it seems like. And there was a lot of people connecting Ryan Ruth, the second Trump shooter, to like, oh, like he was there. This is like a Candace Owens thing.
Did I send you the new thing with Ruth?
Oh, where he's like, send me to Gaza?
Yeah, so okay, this is new reported. This guy is so. I would really like to have him on the podcast. Pick his little brain. He has sent a letter saying that he is asking to be sent to Gaza to be swapped out with the hostages, so that we can free the Israeli hostages, so that some of the Israeli hostages can be freed, and he would like to take their place.
That seems fair. Right? That's a good deal. I don't care who you are.
This is the insane Samaritan.
He's just really trying to help in any way that he can.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, the Ruth going to Fort Bragg stuff, I think comes from this guy, Tony Saruga. Tony Saruga seems
A
to
name
me-
like that, I'm sorry. If you're telling me Tony Saruga claimed something, I'm going to say that's a liar.
I
that's
mean,
a
this guy
crazy
seems
ass
like
name.
a complete. I mean, looking at his LinkedIn right now, Tony Saruga, Greenlaw Capital Succession, exit and cash out expert, investor, mentor, CRE, board member, data scientist, and pioneer, CIA, NSA officer, or contractor, private intel ops. As about section. If there was one takeaway, in fact, a multi-million-dollar concept that few understand, it would be that you don't make money running your business. Oh, well, that really goes on there. Boy. But he says that he has like every single cell phone in the US and like all the tracking on every single thing. And that he was the one that reported that Ryan Ruth went to Fort Bragg 50 times in the like time leading up to the shooting. He has
Which
produced
hasn't produced any.
zero.
Yeah.
Zero evidence. He also said that Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen had been having the affair and that the whole thing was like a cover up to prevent Michael Cohen's sexual indiscretions from coming to light.
That I do love, and I'm going to choose to believe because I like the idea
I like
of,
it.
in my head too, Michael Cohen is like really short and Stormy Daniels is really tall
Yeah. Yeah.
in my head. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to keep it that way.
I feel like she's tall, right? I don't know. She's probably wearing heels. He seems short as hell.
He does, but
He
I don't know
really
if
reads
that's-
short.
Yeah,
If
he reads.
Yeah, he better be. Well, I'll never see him. I'll probably see him. But yeah, I mean that connection to me, I was like, that seems pretty tenuous there. The Dinja Bar thing, though, it does feel like we haven't had one like that in a while. You know what I mean? Like we've certainly had a lot of mass casualty events, but this one combines like every single thing. Crazy loner guy. Mm-hmm. He's an ISIS,
Wow.
pledging to ISIS, and a veteran. And so he's really checking off every box of like mass killer kind of thing. It's interesting.